Pepacum Duna Bata, Rizambu Tajakale, Drupon Nambala, Risanjig Poranana, Risanjig, Gondam San Choksem Namkata already. Then a Kozo San Choksa Sabat Sem, but Jamsona already. The Linga Soka Sanji Garden, the Lingus Sabat Semi, but yet a half already. Then it is some take or Mark Yard in Zamblin and so over Deterioration.
So Tashi Dilek to all of you who have come, all of Rinpoche's Dharma friends here who have come in person, and also all of those of you who are on the internet attending through Zoom. And so all of the ultimate truth or the ultimate bodhicitta of the Buddha is like the sky, and the relative bodhicitta is like an ocean. And it is due to the kindness of the Buddha that we have some experience or some sense of immeasurable love, or the qualities of love and compassion. And so since this relative bodhicitta is like an ocean of milk, Rinpoche says first he offers this to all of you, to the world, and to all of the followers of the Buddha and all beings, this milk of the ocean of the relative and ultimate truth.
Thank you.
We want to welcome everyone to our auspicious August event of incredible teachings and practice, and are so happy that His Eminence Garchen Rinpoche will start off the whole program. And we welcome back Drupon Rinchen Dorje. We're so grateful that he's in good health. And we welcome our visiting Lama Khenchen Nyima Gyaltsen, who will be giving us the Gong Chig teachings, and Khenpo Sambo, our visiting guest, and Khenpo Tenzin and Khenpo Tupsang. And we will begin with opening prayers in the yellow prayer book on page 1.
Noi barje bege darba dan dan jen jen be bar de jo bar je bar dan je je zo je be ma nan ga da nyan be zen jen dan je be wa dan de dong dan ja nyo da la na me yan da bar zo be jan jo ren bo je da bar ja.
All mother sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly may they attain precious, unsurpassed, perfect, complete enlightenment. All mother sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness and be free from suffering, and swiftly may they attain precious, unsurpassed, perfectly complete enlightenment. For that purpose, until I attain Buddhahood, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. Until death, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. From today until this time tomorrow, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. I take refuge in the Buddhas until attaining the essence of awakening. Likewise, I take refuge in the Dharma and in the assembly of Bodhisattvas. Just as the Buddhas of the past gave rise to bodhicitta and progressed along the Bodhisattva's path, so shall I give rise to bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings and practice the stages of the Bodhisattva's path. I take refuge in the Buddhas until attaining the essence of awakening. Likewise, I take refuge in the Dharma and in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. Just as the Buddhas of the past gave rise to bodhicitta and progressed along the Bodhisattva's path, so shall I give rise to bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings and practice the stages of the Bodhisattva's path. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of beings.
Dong Nyeren jada nyedan jarve danyan lane barjorje.
May all Mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all Mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Lin xian jie de ran jian jian zan jie ran jian jian zui xian gen jiao be zo ma le lo ye lan den ba la na de nian zhou gun Dorje zon de zon da le lon jie doi bai jian jie dang Gong Chig rai yuan de mai jie da de zang wen ge bai jie zhe gen bai jie dan zhe xie wai xian jie lo Ngơ da ngơ men da le yon roi xiang jian ga ne zo zhuo dai jie jie men ze le ne lo men ran jiu Bur zan jie to bar jin jie lo.
An infinite array of worlds, each with 4 continents and the wealth of infinite oceans of realms, if I bring them all to mind and offer them without exception, please hold with compassion all the beings they contain. My body, enjoyments, and whatever I own, my aggregates, elements, and sense sources, my aspirations now and in times to come, as well as everything I grasp as mine. By offering them all, may I be blessed with the end of self-grasping, completely liberated from the bounds of real and unreal, transcending the names and attributes of arising, cessation, and abiding, coming and going, affirmation and denial. The supreme mandala is the natural state. When I offer it, bless me to attain the state of Buddhahood.
Ongura devan rai gen rana mandala Padezazova. Page 11. O Zenje Nanje Zambada Loye Jedi Darbar Jejon Tumon Debaye Jejang Golo Gordozo.
Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the greater, lesser, and common vehicles according to the dispositions and mental capacities of sentient beings.
오 자지들이 주로는 받으는 엄마가 그렇게 작하시죠. 이 강의에서는 다다 문제들서 라리 따와라들이다 마음바라 체력도 달나 이 남부치대 저마이 베더니 매바도를 체력 약지 고발로 송을 대를 따와요리 대마이가 체력이 시합고 차이메 체력 자담 달나들이 나바 사제베 때문에 대서 다해요리 저기들이 사제가 뭐란 건 탈라되네 네 동담을 사축생들 양답관인데 나대대들이 나버리는 가사가라 이 남부치대 약지 고발로 망고 줘요리
So Tashi Telek to all of you, and Rinpoche says he will say a few words, especially because in the future, with regard to the Buddha Dharma, as science and scientific thought is increasing in this world, then in the future it's possible that the Dharma can just be something that becomes seen as being false or not really having any merit. And so to prevent this, then the more that there is the study and application of the wisdom of the Buddha Dharma, and that understanding is born in the mind streams of beings, then this, the wisdom and understanding of the Buddha Dharma will only increase. And so And so, as due to the power of aspiration, prayers, and practice, then may the Buddha Dharma just continue to spread and increase throughout the world.
파 주의들은 건데 이에 망고 송고요. 저들은 양설이야 지들이 강리들이 저번에 딘송 공개 답주 공부하지 말아서 주펑제저 상제저 발 찍대 탐지 상제저 동직 버려야 돼. 상제들은 가래 단지니들이 파 살미들이 생고라 왕토를 때려 제라고 요래. 생매 집 상제요 말해. 대회는 들이지 가서 첫 뒤에 답수 공부하지 봐서들이 이제 뒤섬지 상제 담지 송지적 공지적 대대들이 답수 공부하지 봐서 들이잖아 그신이 맞잠 생게 못 불러는 거요 레지
And now all of the Dharma that we have received, from the great masters such as Lord Jigten Sumgun, in which all of the that is practiced throughout all of samsara and nirvana. Tinidi yapokoma song tata nyung chu de tampo de kare song kempo.
주봉지 사제저 봐.
Okay. So so the Dharma, when it is in an expansive sense, it becomes as expansive as the entirety of samsara and nirvana, and yet in its most condensed sense, it is condensed down to a single meaning, a single purpose, a single point. And so this is really what is taught by Lord Jigten Sumgun and the sublime teachings of Lord Jigten Sumgun, and particularly in his seminal work, the Gongchick, or the single intention, in which he teaches that all of the 84,000 categories of Dharma and all of the teachings of the Buddha are contained in a single essence. And that essence, through understanding that single essence, all 84,000 teachings are understood, and one gains control over one's own mind. So the word Buddha, Sanje, Sang is referring to the purification of all the obscurations and defilements of the mind, and essentially gaining control or freedom of the mind. And apart from this essence of the mind itself, there isn't actually any Buddha other than that. And so all of the Buddhas of the three times have taught a single Dharma. And this is what is really contained, or the true meaning or essence of Lord Jigten Sumgön's Gongchick. And this is what Khenchen Rinpoche will be kindly sharing with us today. And so, likewise, this single essence is condensed or contained within 5 principal methods or points. And so all of the Dharma, when in terms of practice, when one practices the fivefold path, then all is contained within this. This is really the root of all 84,000 categories of Dharma. Is bodhicitta, the first actually of the fivefold path of Mahamudra. So the first bodhicitta is the root of all the 84,000 categories of Dharma. And the essence of secret mantra is the Yidam deity. And the essence of blessings is devotion to the Guru. And through that devotion to the Guru, then one's own mind and the mind of the Guru merge and become indivisible. And then this is like the melting of ice. Ice that, when warmed, it melts and merges with the free-flowing water. And so then that itself becomes the practice or the experience of Mahamudra. And so when there's the absence of self-grasping, the self-grasping mind that has the concept of self and other, then it becomes solid and hardened. The mind becomes like a solid block of ice. And we think of ourselves all being different, separate, solid blocks of ice. But when this ice melts and merges with the ocean or with the water, this is likened to the understanding or realization of Mahamudra, in which there is the absence of that mind of self-grasping or separateness. And so if we think, oh, I am me, and he that is him, and we are all separate, this kind of attitude comes about because of self-grasping. And so then when there is the understanding or the practice of Mahamudra, then the fifth of the Fivefold Path, which is dedication, is the aspiration for all beings. The merit is dedicated for all beings, that they all may realize this sublime essence. That for those who have not developed this understanding or given rise to bodhicitta and realized Mahamudra, that it may arise in the minds of those in whom it has not arisen, and in the minds of whom it has arisen, may it continue to increase and expand. And so this is the supreme path or method of practice, which contains the essence of all 84,000 categories of teachings. And so Drupon Rinpoche will be giving this empowerment for the Fivefold Path of Mahamudra, the Fivefold Torma Empowerment, which is really very important. And once it has been received, then it is really good or really important to put it into practice. And so it's a wonderful opportunity that you have to receive this from Drupon Rinpoche, and then, please all of the Dharma friends here also, practice, put it into practice. Let's see. Mm-hmm.
Khenchen Nyima Gyaltsen Gavalan Drupon Zabe Garchen Rinpoche Jeba Nambra Tabe Jinjen Chenlab Je Chujun Jaso Chembe Yandrase Meje Malam Jajewa Yunwa Lunje Drupje Tema Mebe Lama Tamba Nula Chan Zajen Chudo Jebzan Chewa Jinje Labran Zendo So Dojin Chewa Delo Naroda Marmada Padun Jideng Garchen Sumden Zabe Lama Shewa Zaju Lama Yedam Chuzon La Survandu Soda Jujinje Lo Namo Nasi Namdage Lama La Nasi Jijin Son Chebam Kamson Yondo Do Survande Kurwa Tondu So Sinjelo Jijin Ro Zogejen Masam Jeme Jerve To Enchimbe Yishi Ngadan Den Zabe Dani Garchen Drawa Jumze Rinpoche Dasumni Jengane Survande Chuni Jengando Sinjelo Simdone Jeme Namdan Londe Chugo Dobra Chenje Lo Chenze Ngado Demba Zo Sanje Gandruma Paden Lamara Shara Tujiran Shen Tarbe Lamdam Yongze Shinye Namla Gushan Zar Lada Lame Meomje Wambo Tang Jerjen Laso Chuje Chola Chawa Cheba Nam Sanje Sonra Rabdo Shijen Deve Jijiru Tedan Cheje Tambe Chunyen Baryandir Shi Tene Tatirin Tane Pusum Soba Tachidan Namjun Taringanzo Sangha Dorje Tewegi Chugi Wando Cheyundu Zane Tenen Korwadan Nyangelen Debe Chutamjin Pusum Soba Ngaye Rangshin Res O Tende Chi Songyungu Yoruba Punso Ngadens Tene Tam Pusum Soba Nga Sene Songyungu Zane Tene Tundam Chunyi Wando Cheyundu Zane Korwadan Nyangde Kare Yenayang Kum Pusum Soba Ngaye Rangshin La Yene Ta Songwa O Yene Tabe Rangshin Tendechi Indu Zane, Tene Tundam Chunyi Kim Pusum Soba Ngas, Tendechi Songyungu Yore, Tene tena jendu Dorje rang sosuge tene le ta yundu zane yang tendege tabege nawala posum soba nga sene tene punso nga den tene namba nisu song yungandus.
So first, here we can generate a perception of the five fully perfected excellences or abundances. And so generally when we practice the secret mantra Vajrayana, then this is united with the perception of the five perfections. Because all of samsara and nirvana, the true nature of samsara and nirvana is that it is primordially endowed with these five perfections. It is already primordially pure. So this is from the perspective of the five perfections of the ultimate truth of the true nature, dharmata, that these five perfections are already primordially pure, primordially perfected as the very essence of samsara and nirvana. And so then there's the other approach, or the second kind of aspect of the five perfections, in that the mind streams of ourselves, those to be tamed, when we purify the obscurations in our mind streams, then the vision becomes pure, it becomes purified. And so then this is the second aspect of the five perfections, the developing the perfection of the five perfections.
Ta teren tene punso nga den nipe wando che yundu zane tene nem pusum choba. Ta nge koya cheba yinan di sajande tene ngamugi tene arigi da jik deme merik tanzogi ne za chimbuchi yimba tende chi konyoyu de sajande. Tene tande chala yinayang tene ngaranzo ta jarwan rung kajugi tembe dabo janggun yishinu tena shindu tene Garchen Dorje chang tena shin Drupon guncho nuru la sobeke tene chigita tambege jiwu mambu chigi chinji labshabeke tene ne tene chi indu zane te tere nganzo nzomsege tene sajan deyang tene nem pusum zoba ta tene chi tene chade gyores.
So the first of these five perfections are the perfection of the place. And so the perfection of the place, here this place, this sacred space in which we have gathered, first of all, Khenchen Nyima says he's heard that to begin with, it was a really powerful place. It was considered to be a profoundly powerful place, in the traditions of the Native Americans. And so to begin with, it has this basis of great blessing and power. And then it has received so much blessing through the presence of, for instance, the holder of the teachings of the Drupon lineage, the wish-fulfilling jewel, His Holiness Chetsang Rinpoche, who has visited here, and also, of course, His Eminence Garchen Rinpoche Vajradhara in person, and as well as Drupon Konchog Norbu, and many other great teachers who have come and endowed this place with very powerful blessings. And so we have here the perfection then of the place, the pure perfection of the place.
Tene teza maase tanya cher tene Garchen Rinpoche shen jewe kauso yan tene Rinpoche ge karasong ndo sanan di sande mikse ge ji ta thande tucho la sabje shinken sage nesuru shinken mambo ji ge tene ji sai shiga de pem pusum soba yoba tende songken do tene teza maase di sande ge nang la tene ji rangshin ge ta ji 사이나 re doina re tela sobala kandarchi 닝제 다 시럽게 메이던데 고 랑종고 유데베 어떤데게 드네 사장 부숨 소바진 예선한테 시에네 무여서 드네 송송 대인도 전에 드네 가랑서 다 드링 던데게 드네 내 부숨 소바지라 드네 좀더 요레스.
Gungta de yapo koma songte me mambo
Kasan
sagi
necher
nechu shigen.
sai nesur shingen ki me mangbu ki tren di sabje ndi tene ji 가르스나 배 푸숨 소바지 삽제배 야보 예외게 사자던데 지ren도 스는데 람케야 망본도 소
And so also, as Garchen Rinpoche has said, that this place is especially special, and there are many who know about kind of the special qualities of places or the land that have that kind of training or knowledge, who have come here and who have said that this is indeed a very special place, a very holy place with all of the necessary or favorable qualities, in terms of the land. And also not only that, but all of the earth and stones, dini kongso di sadang do kongso
dogi nangla dogi remoten zola tene mig remo yoba o mig rangjong yoba tende kashe yore songso te indu zanada tenzo de zo namjwe pena shirabda ningje gi mig segdawa o tende gi ndona ji tabda shirab songju koran sa korangi shigalayang ta tende ji tubde begi ne chebar chinjing sares.
And also in the many of the stones, there are these eyes or circles in the stones that are like wisdom eyes or eyes of compassion. That they, there's the image or the drawing of the circle in these stones just naturally all over the place on the land here, and so even the stones and the earth contain naturally the wisdom eyes and eyes of compassion. So the earth itself in this place is endowed with the qualities of the union of method and wisdom.
Tene da tuzugi wondu che yundu zane tene nganzo tandande da je pebegi lotu jizong cheba yinam tene tereng dawa chasang nyakangwe ki tuji tendegi da dawa nyakangwa da ko dawa rere yungurwa tin nane labardo terengi tujinde tene nganzo da je tabo gaju sane chen to yongsa de jidangi cheba yina gaju tambo pöla zawa chungkende jesu marpalo sare tene ti jesu melare bare rete yena yang tabu gaju san sen tosa ngoma de tene nyame gambo bane man sen toyon wa tene ji indu zane tene tere miksegi gambo ba nyangelen debe ki tue chebar chen tene ji yang ta goji madi randi ki chuji gone tene tue tene ji chebar chen bares.
And then the second of these 5 excellences, which is the excellence of the time. So first of all, today, according to the Tibetan calendar, so it is the full moon, and also it is a holy day, and that when it comes to the kindness of the Kagyu lineage. So first in Tibet, the first of the lineage masters from Tibet, of course, was Marpa, who was followed by Milarepa, who was then followed by the peerless Gampopa. And so the Dakpo Kagyu comes from, that name, for instance, comes from Gampopa. So it is, he is like the great, one of the great fathers of our lineage. And today is also the day that celebrates or that marks his passing into parinirvana. So it is also already a special and auspicious time.
Tene chidang cheba yina tene chupchen telo pagi tuji jarbo temba yin sene songdowa ta tuzuki jarbo tuzuki chesho de temba ten songde ten du zane dona tenshi nyamba meba yina kadu yina ko tumpo song sobaji cha degi yore de tene yina yana ta miksegi tando kondu shuba na jin tene tereng ta tuzuki chebar jen tene chi ko rang jingi tu dewa tene chi redindos.
And also, the Master Tilopa has said that the king of times, or sort of the The most excellent time is the time, whenever that is, that there is mindfulness, that mindfulness is present. And so in this way, when the qualities of mindfulness and awareness are present, then that marks, the excellence of the time.
Tene tena shen da tumbam pusung soba song du zane tene ngarang so namjun da changme shabden song na ka su pawe yordo aryan dewashi dokam jo song garji re song chung je den gumbu tuse chue den ba par den ga chen ko se ka jer den sane ta ngam zo namjun shamden ka su song yo wa tena shen yin du zane tene terengi tumbam pusung soba wang du che yin du zane tene 다지 뜸바 산제 좀 된데 냥엘렌데 센네 로집자기 제수 드는 장 박배 율라 번건 파발 루드 스네드니 페바로와 다 루드 대기 값수 루드기 로메기 쪼데 수르사나 드는 로벤 아리안데와 세게레 대인도 로벤 아리안데와 대 제단한테 지답 송모와라 믹 짐바땅네 베 닝지 전부 샤완도 줄denken 랑게 믹 순제 짐바땅네 너나 믹 찍모도 멘켄기 다 강사한테 지그래 옛날야한테 난기 투기 또베기 원도 제인도 자네 시제기 추 탐제기 내루 콩도 추denken 된대기 베 개바 전부지 로본 루르고드네 로말라 총도와 디인도 자네 갑대도 어더네 로본 아리안데베 가르송 바르스나 라이옹보 자진 세야텔라 믹동차지 요레스 예나야 타동 거기 추게 내로든 통요 마레스 데나신 라 타부든 솔라 믹숨 요레스 예나야 타동 추게 내로 통토요 마레스 예나야 아리안 데발라 믹지 요레데 옌 대기
데 라이 왕보 자진
믹동차지 요레데 예나야 추게 내로 단단에 덴바든 통요 마레스 Tena shendu hla chakpo tenzola mik sum yores, yinaya tadong chugi nelu tenzon tongyo mares. Yinaya nga aryan dewa la mik jing modo me de, wen jang khurwa da nyangene dewe chu tamchegi nelu todo yores na tende songdo wa. Di indu, da tendegi teni loben chenbu, teni pangong paba ludugu namchu tende chik chongwa res.
Sudam Gandrim Bade Lok Tugna Yapore.
Tanda, Shabden de. Oh, yeah, Shabden in Dildoa. Oh, Nishto Somres.
Well, okay, the one known, and so when it comes to the perfection of the place, or not the place, the perfection of the teacher. So just as it says in Garchen Rinpoche's long life prayer, the one known in the Holy Land is Arya Deva, who emanated through the Gar clan into eastern Tibet as Chodingpa, the heart son of Jigten Sumgun. And so in this way, so we have with us the teacher, the perfection of the teacher, who is Aryadeva in person. And so the Buddha, 400 years or so after the Buddha's passing into nirvana, there appeared the great master Nagarjuna. And Nagarjuna's main disciple was Aryadeva. And Aryadeva had a tremendous compassion, and out of his tremendous compassion, he actually gave away one of his own eyes. And so he was, left with a single eye. And yet, he was known as somebody who was one-eyed or had a single eye, but he knew or could see with perfect clarity the true nature of all reality. And so it was often said that even though Aryadeva only has one eye, and for instance, the king of gods, Indra, has 1,000 eyes, Indra still cannot see the true nature of the ultimate truth. And likewise, even though some of the wrathful worldly deities possess 3 eyes, they still do not see the true nature of reality. But Aryadeva, who has only his single eye, has realized the true nature of all phenomena. And so, in this way, the perfection of the teacher is in essence, Nagarjuna. The Lubam Ludrup.
Pangum Papa Ludrup Kapso, then Ludrup Ngulup, Tarian Devas, then the Chongarwa. Tene, that Teda, then Loban, Arian Deva, Teni, then Joban Jitan Sungunta, Sheju Kavla, Per Kanjang Jonathan, Ludrup Namtur, Joban Jitan Sungun Bare, Tangone Chena, Ludrup, Tommy Nika Namtur in the Baratang, Tikorde. Jelachi Shucho retain the Zane Kantar, the Yongtando chain do Ludrugan Namtur, the Joban Jadin Sungung Gudula, then Garchuding Ba, Zenoda Tension and Kandra Tandegi, then Tension Zavelame Pardo, or then Toba Tunju, Gunchen Rimjon, Tendeji Yudu Zane, then Tandak Musu, touching and Zun Jaya Yuba, Naranso Geteneji, Sunam Gipaldo Shardeba, Donatane Peji. Tobe da jutur tuji jinju mendengingi oda laman dende jinga zo ju debande tene tembam posum so batende chimbares
and so then Nagarjuna also then later emanated in the land of snows as Lord Jigten Sumgun. So both Lord Jigten Sumgun and Atisha are said to be, or Asanga, are said to be emanations of Nagarjuna. And so then Lord Jigten Sumgun, becoming very renowned throughout all the land, had a number of close disciples. And one of these close disciples was Garchudingba, who of course then is the former incarnation of our own kind Guru, Garchen Rinpoche. And so we have such tremendous merit to be here in his presence. And then also through, to be in the presence of such a great master who has tremendous compassion and realization as he does, with the ability to cause realization, authentic realization and compassion to arise in the mind streams of his disciples.
Tene da chum pusum soba, da chum pusum soba de, tene train, ngaran so da ji nima kashe ji ring la, tene penchun rolling naya, tang, tene ji shuya da de. Tamju gongba jiwe yongdang, tene chaja chenpo nga dengi torwangin chunbe, tene taji sabadan jachewe ki chu, o tenso de, tene ngaranso da longsu joya tende ji indu zane, chun pusung soba da tenso te de imbare es de indu zane, tene gongchigi taji chun pusung soba gongchigi, chechu gu korde, tene tandan dordu ji ngana shugins.
And then when it comes to, so that covers the perfection of the teacher, and then there is the perfection of the Dharma. And so the perfection of the Dharma is present in the schedule or for our time here together for these teachings, in which mainly there will be taught the Gongchick and also the Fivefold Path of Mahamudra, beginning with the Torma Empowerment of the Fivefold Path. And so as this is, these dharmas are both extremely vast and profound, then here we have the perfection or the full excellence or abundance of the Dharma.
다네 담주 공바지베 용세한테 다지 지단 체는베 장매 되네 지다 첸게레 되네 센용 유레 대인도자네 되네 지금 오늘 용게 공도연도 지나 남카다 오지 배 자친보지 배는 남카다 오지나 남카 되게 나라 간족에 강바 친보지 잡나야 고 잡초도와 남카 파르동 첨보지 유도 자네 난전 칸바페 토자 망보 칸바 자 첨보지 유나야 잡주 유대바 양한테네 칸바 링점지 잡나야 고 잡초 대바 칸바 총총지 잡나야 잡초바 나신 tene gongchik yung de la tene ngone ge ji nyamdang tobe ge dani jindu churdeba namji zi yundu zane ngone ji be tenso ge da ji tobe ge tone yang be taye ba tene zi ju de ban zho ji tene ngan zho da yang ji go des de tusam ge shirab chung yong ken ji ge yang tene yang ji de la samlo jo tang wa yin yang go tang ju yue de ban zho ji gongchik yung de ge 강사 초도 줄바당 간산 쟁당 간사 멤버 수지한테 낭미도다 돈로고 말에 텐도 공징들라 난조테네지 시럽 최종 간제지 있나야 어테나신 준주 최종 간제지 있나야 메바 최종 간제지 있나야 그 창매에게 되는 지금 중나야 라랑 소속을 로던 템바지 주주 유대베게 되는 땡주 다 남갔다고 되는지 자도 요레스
And so to begin with these teachings on the Gongchick, this text, as you all are probably familiar with, is really extraordinarily vast. So there's so much, a single individual could really spend a lifetime studying and practicing according to this text. So it is really extensive when it is extremely extensive, like the sky or like space, and so it also can be taught and also studied in this very extensive way, in this sky-like, very vast and extensive way. But it also can be really concise and very kind of a pith and concise in its expression. So it's sort of like there are different ways of, if you build a house, you can build a really big house or building with many floors, or you can build kind of a medium-sized house or building with kind of medium-level floors, or you can build a really small house, with a single floor. And so in the same way, the Gongchick can be, understood or experienced in these different ways, at these different levels of sort of expansiveness and also extremely concise. And for those who have really vast realization and experience, then it's really just limitless in its unfolding wisdom. And so Khenchen Rinpoche says, even for he himself, who has relatively, he says, very little practice and study, or study and contemplation, it is still sort of never ceases to amaze him in the profundity of the expansiveness of this text. And then so for the Gongchick really is accessible to everyone, regardless of what level they're at, regardless of, for those who have less wisdom, for those who have greater wisdom, it is understandable and applicable to all, regardless of their level of wisdom and of wisdom or diligence or mupa. Or interest.
다 텐데기 테네 취임 부송 조바당 테네 다 나방간 좀 코른 부송 조바 사용도 전에 테네 저번 제대 송고 공직이 나라 테네 다 또바 줄라 제야라 테네 베 무구도 조인 송바레 때인도 전에 테네 무구유베 강사제이나 테네 배전 코른 부송 조바 텐데지 차안로 유사레 오 텐데 인도 테네 트렌드나다지 ngaran zum deba thamche de lama chigil hloma chu gongba chi wa ta chigla lonsu chen ken tane pena chi jingkorun digen do chu deba jingkor chigen do zum deba tende chi indu jane tane ngaran chode ta terenge kapsu pabe tane tadande koron posum soba saya de cha yung yores
And so then there is the excellence of the retinue or the assembly. And so when it comes to the assembly, in order for, it is, as is said, in order for realization to arise in the mind stream, it is necessary to have the qualities of faith and devotion. And so that's what really makes the excellence of the retinue, is, that retinue or the assembly that has faith and devotion. And so here, as we've all come together, in this time to receive these teachings, and we have all, and with faith and devotion, we have entered into the same mandala, or we're all like one single mandala, and in that way, this becomes the perfection of the entourage or the retinue, the assembly.
Kamdela, Tene, Tangaranda, which in Gong Chig Tola, Monegi, Tubegi, Sheravian, Ja Chung Chung in, Tene Sambegi, Sheravian, Ja Chung Chung, Teneji Gombe, Sheravian, Tatendegi, Ji Kayang, Menken, Be Gombo Yenke, Tendegi, Kansa Tamar Banda, which Chad Yurti in Duzane, Tatendeji, Terengaranzo, Tendeji, Dumban Posums over you, Corum Posums over Zom, Tuichever, Chad, Kabla. Tene taji Gongchick tolaji shugona ji shu shea de pe kale khabo mone pen serbo rajindu tin du kaseng tene nyacharanga yoroblu yobe kabla tene lama ponye mechur ndewana ne tene ta terenge kabla Gongchick ji tego re serbochi tene ji kapindu sons tene nge tedu karishuen sa tanga ji talen rinpoche kundu nan jegarang shuyamado tene ji Gongchick thya tene zerem manaro ji se shuayin pa Teti Sani Tela Rinpoche Rangi Tsuru Tane Song Tende Kunana Ta Inchi Minchi Te Gongchick Chik Te Gu Res Tende Ka Pe Song Tene Daji Tendergi Ne Cheba Jinjin Yujiri Samchene Tene Laso Shuyin Ta Ina Tereng Tena Nguyosu Shuya Ki Tutsu De Tu Yundu Zane Tene Rinpoche Tsogu Ula Pebi Shu Tena Shin Tene Drupon Rinpoche Tena Shin Ken Rinpoche Namban Tene Shu De Du Zane Daji Ngen Tene Gongchick Ji Xie Yundu Zane Ji To Dewon Rawo Ji Lo Devon Rochi Tone, Shual Tiscale Cabundu. Kainsa Tandabodu Jedanga Pechando Tine, Tamalun Yusasum Zamji, Rosson, Gajun Tolu Pechatine. Red and Namjun Tisatan Zosama de Jita, Lomir Jedengi, Tene Flopchu Janja in Duzane, Tenisoso Pobanda Wichin, Cotia and Rochi Tituat and the Yungu de that ring the Natsama, Teneji, Rumbucho Zuru Jurbe, Tene Tobatan Demba, Nyamyonda Demba. Chenlabdan Demba, or the Nishidu Kangitonayan, Tarchin Songet, and the Janjang Judi Zane, the Nipeche Ngandanachi, Yisetanga Levik, Sorwandochi Matobe, Nedenichi, Gongchick Tolanga, Motuchi, use something as Sorwa Teslea, Kaleka Wonders in those. Tainanga Kang Tenden, Rochi, the Kang Shishin Rochi, the Nishu to Matu Tenechitayans.
And so Khenchen Rinpoche says that he himself, has really doesn't feel qualified actually to teach the Gongchick in this way, especially in this setting. He says he has, kind of limited understanding through his own practice and study, and has done, or study and contemplation, and has done very little meditation himself. So he says he hasn't really developed much wisdom through meditation. And so he really considers himself to be completely ordinary. And so actually to, with being in this very special place at this special time with this very special retinue and with the fully embodiment of the perfection of a teacher present, then it's really kind of difficult for him to feel comfortable teaching. And he didn't actually plan to do this when he was in Europe. He had plans to come visit Rinpoche for his own purposes. And Lama Bunima contacted him and told him that Rinpoche would like him to teach on the Gongchick when he is here. And so he explained that actually he doesn't he doesn't feel qualified to do that, or he really is only interested to come here to meet with Rinpoche himself. And so then Rinpoche also contacted him and said he really absolutely must give these teachings. And so then, feeling that this is, an important tindral, he felt he should accept. And so he did accept, but he also feels strange, especially when, Rinpoche himself is here and could give the teaching himself, and with Drupon Rinpoche present and all these other Kimpo Rinpoches present. So he said, normally when he teaches in the context of the Shedra, so he has 23 years of experience or so teaching in the Shedra to his students, who are pupils who are studying also in that. So in that context, it's easy to teach with confidence. But here, with Rinpoche present, especially, and somebody with his level of realization, experience, and blessing, he kind of feels like it's almost like an exam, rather than feeling like he can actually give these teachings as kind of pointing out.
What in the tin do that? Tenetandong and the Nima Kashejila Gongchick tea. Go Yasare Tindu, Jinan Kasan Gondataning, Drupon Rinpoche Shuin, that Che, Sanit and Mapero Nang, Jen Shuin, and Dagon, Rinpoche and Jayak, the Kokamro Choma, something when it touches the Rinpoche Kalup, Dordujananga Pegre, songs and tea in the Tatanji and Peche, take Jela, Tenichi, Rinpoche, Tenasian Drupon Rinpoche Nambachi, Tande, Nanzo Gongchi, Tangin, Denachi, Chalomole, Shesan, Dena, Mapero Nana. Tenayang chen nambalang tes chi karso ngarang kang shebate ma khane tuya dang deshe ja tuyal tes pensare samudurwa o tende indu zane tene chi soden jimala so manando tene ma pemne chi juna joro che snge tende chi rewa shu ye
and so also some days ago when he was speaking with Drupon Rinpoche, he also said, please, please don't come while he's giving the teachings. And also he didn't think that Rinpoche would be present, when he was teaching either. But of course, and then he heard that Rinpoche had the plan to come and give a few words of introduction, and that he would stay, during his session of teaching. And so, that is, how it turned out for today. But actually, he thinks that he will feel more comfortable, teaching to us if maybe they don't come to the next sessions. So he'll feel more comfortable. So please don't come.
What in the Indu Tatring, Kandariantane, Tatamchu Gomba Chigwa, Tenechi Shugo Race, and then Garchen Dorje Changa Capepa Nanshin, Tenechin Dana, Shuyag to Sutayan took. Tenko Anchik, Tender go Kansan and Dixon want to down in Duzane Tanji Kondo Shuba Nanshin, then the Timpusum Soba Tendechian, then Kate and Reche in Duzane, Yanchi, Choice and Dachin and Sanotan and Dundendegi, Kandar Naranga Ngone, Chuba Pura Segu Yunandra. Yesetangwa Segu and Kandarian, the Tusu message la Tundo, Sambetone Yanchi Gawatang, Bobandro Jesons.
However, it is just as His Eminence Garchen Rinpoche Vajradhara in person has said, that this is such a profound text, the single intention or the single intent, the Gongchick, and as he began with, all of these perfections being present during such a special time as this holy or sacred time in a sacred place. So then from the other side, like on the one hand, whether it is that he's just making an offering, doing this as an offering, or like taking an exam, he's also feels extremely blessed and happy to be here. So he has that confidence and also gratitude.
Tene da Gongchick tidu yang samsanga kasana samnala ngang samdo chi karayong do sana tene jenga Dorje sherab dan jiden songu ngulubwa kongi tene Gongchick in terchen nangze yi shi deme segre namjung nganzo Gongchick Dorje ma segdo dinala karisong yore sayendu zane maomba Gongchick shenken tenso kes tene tangbo jiden songo gungba yimba nashin chenende sheji jab kale yang ma julu ma leyundu zane tene yang keba jenda gi sheba da jiba roji sheja wa ina tendrig mares pena tangbo pe zibo senge ge ge nashin ji jab tene kale pungu ge ge nashin ji cha song wa ina ndrig mares kesi tangbo senge ge nashin pe zibo ji jab de she pe zibo ji jab tene jele kale pungu ge na jin ge tabdu joji chaosong wa ina tene zhe ma re de indu zane ta ngone ji ngone jubo de chasang yabu ji xie tupsa re samba ina xie tupsa ma re samba ina ya jina ya shu re san tene ji song yo re de indu yang cham tene ge ji song den je yundu zane o ta Gongchick se ya de tene ge be sabo dang za chenbo tumu mayin ba ji rendu tindu yang ji xie de wa ina ta ta te gan lep tu yuna mena sambegi tani yang samge chona den de yang yong dos
De chu she do.
Gongchick xie we kabla ji da mixe ge chu xie we kabla ina re labar do Gongchick xie yundu zana yang te ji kaso so samla da tandang ge xuen ba Rinpoche ula ju Drupon dan Khenchen Nyima Gyaltsen dana ju do tangbo nga samla ji ngara ji yorwa 대강나 제가 dorje sherabge songden jene samlo chitang yang ngangja nibaji langya tende yang chagndo
Tene Dorje shema nangla rang de la tuyurbe.
re
So one of the great commentaries on the Gongchick that was composed by Chinga and Dorje Sherab called The Lamp of the Primordial Wisdom, the Primordial Wisdom of Appearance and Existence, otherwise known as the Dorshema. He said that in the future, when it comes to teaching, giving teachings on Jigten Sumgun's single intent, or the Gongchick, that it is important that there's the danger that kind of the quality could deteriorate over time, or that and that this would not be good. It wouldn't be good, for instance, if at first sometimes it can be the case that first the teachings or the way in which something is taught is like really beautiful and profound, like the sound of a lion. And then over time, it kind of becomes diminished, and it becomes more like the cry of a donkey. And so it is important for this not to happen, he says, but for kind of the consistency of the power of the teachings to be maintained, from beginning to end. And so this is also dini chi dinda nangshin che tu gi na mena
ye ke se shi du zana ya tende chan ru yong si ro wa tendu ya tende chi chan ru yin pe sa re samne tende ge ya shen han ya yus.
So Khenchen Rinpoche is a little concerned that this might also happen in his case, or this could happen, as he explained, given kind of the circumstances. So.
Ta ina ya tene chi ta thalengi Gongchick sheyan de ina re tene namsha jundu ta chi Gongchick de thya de sambo ro cha yung yu nga chi da namjun pecha ge na ne ta pa thya mangshon ro de Gongchick cha ge re lorina lan sam thema sum za thi yu tene chi nyong tha la lorina thema re nge Gongchick ta dewa khan da man de test de thi de yu re thi indu cha ne ta tende gi nyamnyong ti se yu wa tenso dang tene zuyo chisho de daji nge tene lama kuma lama thamba namje shane kandar Gongchick zuuru churbegi daji yongda menga tendeji kala khansamji nge koyore nyeyore te indu tene tensoge gadindang chenlabla tene teneji da sosoge tering kang tutuji shutumna samba o tendeji re tene labardu sanjege ndoi nala karisong yore sana pena jikdenge kamdela nyentu namge tene chula töba samba gomba chene shirab khase ji je yoba yina yandra tena shen rang sanje namji töba da samba da gombe shirab khase ji je yona yandra tena shen changchu samba namji töba da sambe gombe shirab khase ji je yona yang tenregi shirab jeba te sanje ge kari nya jigre sana songdowa tena shen to tene tereng denenge jigda kala kansamji she shenpa rik tendeji chongo songa inane ten tanda nganzo ta jingdi jingko nangla yu debe tene jabjen garchen dorjen changdang o tena shen do tene ji yongzen gewe shini o tenamji tene kari nyakji yin samba o tenregi yichi dang o tendeji ge ton tene nge ta ji Gongchick de shuyang go tendeji zugu yin.
And so Khenchen Rinpoche teaches on the Gongchick regularly. So this is this is one of his main topics that he teaches at least usually maybe 3 times a year, sometimes once if not sometimes once a year. And all of his understanding has come from the experience that he has had with his own great teachers. So the teachings that he has received and the wisdom of the great masters. And so, through his own listening, that is, to the pith instructions of others, then he has also, developed his own way of teaching based on their kindness and blessing. And so today, based on their kindness and blessing, he will also do his best to share with us what he can. And so, as is said in this worldly realm, the wisdom of study, contemplation, and meditation that is experienced by Shravakas, the wisdom of study, contemplation, meditation developed by Pratyekya Buddhas, the wisdom of study, contemplation, and meditation developed by Bodhisattvas, whatever level of wisdom, all of the wisdom, Dharma wisdom that there is, all comes down to the single kindness of the Buddha. And so in that way, today, Khenchen Rinpoche will teach to the best of his ability, also receiving, through the kindness and blessings of his own teachers and Garchen Rinpoche Vajradhara, here, together in this mandala that we've entered together, due to the kindness or based on the kindness of the spiritual teachers.
No, tene da tomar ta ngazo gongpa chigwe ge jung se de zane tene tomar chongrem ji shuba yina tene ya ji Gongchick ge jung de tumu mai ba khande yin ba ji chagi yoba den chengero wa ta china da sangmen chengere de ina ya ji ke chenbo yin de zane yangjar nen den ge churdu ji shuba yina tene ngazo mang chewa ji ge Gongchick se yin de zane jiden sunggung ge zam jawa ji re sam ge tende yong sigiro wa jiden sunggung zam jawa se ya ji tene ya mambo ji ge dan din jiden sunggung ge Gongchick se ya ge chu ji sung yu sa re sene tu su ji la loma ten zol o dang ge Gongchick xie ge yin da sene Gongchick tende ji yong ji pe che sung yu sa re sam be tende ge chona ya yong sigiro wa ti yin de zane ta di Gongchick ge yong de jiden sunggung ge tene kong ta ji sam kan na lulu chen ju ne ma tene pecha chen zam ja ba tene yang ma re tene yang tu su ji gi gab la lo ma na la o ta nge Gongchick se ya chu ji xie gi yin da san ma song ja ba tene yang ma re.
So So to begin with, these uncommon teachings of the Gongchick are, there's sort of sometimes a misunderstanding. Of course, they are attributed to Lord Jigten Sumgun. So often the author is referred to as Lord Jigten Sumgun. And so then there are some who develop the idea that, that Jigten Sumgun composed this text himself, or that he spoke it directly, as a, in the form of a book or in the form of the text that it has now become. But this isn't the case. So it isn't actually that Lord Jigten Sumgun, in his quarters, sort of sat down with the intention to compose this and then, wrote the Gongchick. And it also is not the case that he said, now I'm going to teach this treaty of, or this teaching that then became, this contained kind of package of the Gongchick, and is at a single point in time. So this is not actually how it came about.
다 되네 공칭디 되네 저번제 된 송근게 다 칸데신의 송바레 세인도 자네 다 저번제 된 송근데 되는 간서 남준 쳔바난신레 조고 가서나 롱건 파모트바드네 라마르 떼네 다디 종네 되네 사바단 자체외기 춘 타다 대담체의 줄 닝부드바데 차자정보 나데 오다 텐데기 주수로 용수조 바드네 센시 낭 sembatsamaimba tamche tene gomba nyamsolang ne toba julan chung o tendre chung ne tene cheso da ndegong ge tanda ganzo densa chanchoblen segirwa tende tangboda mixege densa sene ke gomba tangbo kone jabjaba tende ke meware tende ge nebembala pene tene ji loma jang o tensola tene sabadan jachewe ge chu juma cheba Nyimane nyimala muntu, dawane dawala muntu, lone lola muntu ne tene chi, ta loma rarang soso ge tene wangbo dan tumba. O tena jintu muba dan tumbe gone chu paadmeba song tene chi nangidowa. Te song na yondu zane, tene ta ti nanglo ne juja zowo zowo, ji namjun keba tenso gi, ji shida gi musongba. Keba shendagi shanne goju meba. Ta tendegi pe chu tende songyondu zane, tene jiten songyongu ta loma zobo jenga sheram june segirwa, tendu jenga sheram june ke tene sindri nange yorita, jiten songyongu songchu kabla, nenga tene sindri nangyongu dowa.
And so the way that the Gongchick came about is that, so as you know, Lord Jigten Sumgun was the disciple of Pagmo Drupa, and so he received all of the vast and profound Dharma instructions from him, and particularly also this became then the source of origination for the practice of the fivefold path of Mahamudra, so receiving, the essence, the condensed essence, and understanding that it can be practiced in this sort of concise form or stages of practice known as the fivefold path. And then based on that, he gave rise to realization and understanding in his own mind stream. And as, this throughout his time of teaching at the seat of the lineage, Zhangchu Ling in Tibet, which wasn't also it's not as though that was kind of constructed as the seat of the lineage, first as though a monastery was built and then, but rather first it was that, going to a solitary place or a secluded place, then as Jigten Sumgun's, followers also gathered around him, and he just taught, day by day, month by month, year by year, he taught the Dharma, and much of what he taught was so kind of extraordinary and unique. It was a Dharma unlike anything that really had been heard before. And so he gave limitless teachings, and the foremost of, or one of his closest disciples, Chinga Sherab Jungne, collected many of his teachings, and the Gongchick in particular, became something that he wrote down, sort of extracting the main points of Lord Jigten Sumgön's teachings that were taught over a long period of time, kind of in a single kind of summary, or almost like an outline of Lord Jigten Sumgön's most kind of profound points.
다 텐데 송연도 신디 나네 드네 양지 신디 낭차베 제라 쟁가 실험 중에 공라 랑기양 마 삼로다네 단디 된다데 양 참참 삼로당 연도 전에 대점당 도바던데 연구로와 다 텐데기 도바 여와데 고 다사고 도뱅을 하 마송와 제네 드는 제된 송경기 종도 다 공샵치 연도 전에 셰라 표백의 값 대나 젠도 드는 지된 송공기 샵라드는 놈던데 좋네 오다 텐데 진에 샵주드베 값텐데라 투조 동바텐데 값라 드는 야지 드랭 송주 낭샤베게 낭라 신디 자변도 신디게 낭라 도바 여바텐데 요나드는 양 지된 송공은 야 간디슈도와 드는 간디슈네 드는 지된 송공 다 텐소게 렌 차상 마 낭네 렌 레레 낭서베 제란 지된 송공기 징가 실험 존을 가르송 거르스나 다 텐소처럼 야부 나부 자와스 마옹 발아야 투무 마인베 체춘다 용시기르다스 대송거다 로아탄다 단제된 송거마 렌 난기로와 낭네트니 징하라 베돈 nembo 난기르다 베 템보 조거린 제된 송 다티 야부처럼 노트지아스 디 야부 신디 야부 나부 자와스 가인사나 마옹 발아 찍잖아 된소 체취된데 차 쓰기르다 송거래 투무 마인베 체취된데 차 쓰기르다스 다 대두무세 공직세야 개요 말와 이든 송거요래 쟁가 실험 중에 쿠란이 찍부 계자로와 쿠란이 찍부 계자로와 단 제된 송거게 쟁가 실험 중에라 가르 송거에서는 단 드조파 야부 다부 잡스 신디데 다추 야부 하코 송아스 된다데 대 야부 다부 잡스 가인사는 디 된다데 마옹 발라 투무 마인베 체취된데 차 쓰기레스나 돈 nembo 난기로와 드네 나와 나제 쟁가 실험 중에 그냥 드네 신디 잡 어떤데 전에드네 난기도와
And so as Chinga Sherab Jungne collected these teachings, kind of creating his own outline, whenever he would have doubts, then he would make a special effort to meet with Lord Jigten Sumgön to clarify those doubts, often in an informal setting, maybe when he was offering him food, or when he was in his quarters, like rubbing massage oil on his feet, or whenever there was kind of a free moment in their time together, then he would address whatever doubts he might have that needed to be clarified based on the composition, this outline that he had written, and so also with each of those questions that he brought to Lord Jigten Sumgön, then he would receive the clarifying response. And Lord Jigten Sumgön also told him that it was very important that he really take care of these teachings that he had collected, this composition or this outline that he had written. He said, kind of making special note to him that in the future, this will become a very important work, so very kind of an uncommon collection of teaching. And so, take good care of it and really, make sure that you don't lose it and really take good care of it.
다 텐데 전에드네 신진낭 드네 돈도제 다 텐데 나와레 대인도 드네 제다 저번제된 송공에다 추 칸제 지 송바이나양 드네 추의 송용도 전에 노인들네 파모 주백인 제된 송군라 담아진 난다와 가르 송바르스나 드니 추랑 마옹 발라 옌라 추시베 값수 추텔라 세마제다 덴바치게 돈의 시에고레스 데카데 양세 제된 송군라 파모 주백 난게도와 다 세마제 송연도 자네 추 가른라지 송고 요나양 디 추데 당부 쪼보 개체슈데 산제긴 도당 주단 들어가지 고레스 도주기 롱단 들어가지 고레스 텐도 자네 저에게 까체마 세르텔라 텐도 까체마 질레자 다 텐데기 깐 도주기 된 태양 양지 깐 도단 주든선도 된다 배 사바단 자체와 망보 인도 자네 디된 참마주 루루존에 송용화텔라 라메 맹아 고요레 텐도 자네 니바데 라메 맹아 된저가지 고레스 라메 맹아 체마 송바레 테네 양지 산지기 송베기 까기 찌지시 데라 라메 맹아 여바이나양 소소라 냠용지 메바이는 디마레스 티인두 자네 추기 된테이 토라 소소기 줄라 테네베 뇽와 여바지 또바 여바지 고레스 티인두 텔라 냠용 체마세야 테고레 송거레 다 텐데기 체마 숨부 티토라 옌라 파트는 제시 자윤도 자네 tani lorju dan jarwa 참삼 lorju 시에네 주응어주지야 참삼 뺀 나초바 시에네 ndeshejaya ta tindu delatani tenjer lorju chema segido 참삼 될 릭바 체마야 송그레 강다량 텐데게 체마 제덴지게 토네 다추 땡고레스네 송바나 진체네 tene 제된 송근게다 추 간지지 송바이나양 텐데게 체마 제덴게 토네 tene 송나용고 요레스
And so also when it comes to these teachings that were collected from the teachings of Lord Jigten Sumgun, they are all based on some pith instructions that are not based on, but they contain the qualities that are based on some pith instructions that were given to him by Pagmo Drupa, who said, in the future, when you teach the Dharma, when you teach again and again, it is important that your teachings be endowed with these four aspects, these four qualities, these four aspects that are particularly important. So the first is that, and actually it's more like the validation, so these aspects that kind of validate the teachings. So the first is that they are validated by the Buddha's sutras and tantras. And so that is the validation of the Buddha's teachings. And then what is contained, or the meaning in the sutras and tantras, also then is sort of kind of translated into pith instruction by the spiritual teacher and delivered in a direct way, which helps to engender real understanding. And so that is the second aspect of validation that should be present, which is they should be validated by the pith instructions of the teacher, of the spiritual teacher. Third is that, so once one has received the pith instructions, if one hasn't given rise to direct experience and realization in their own mind stream, in their own practice, then that also is not sufficient. So third, they should be validated by direct experience and practice, or one's own experience or realization. And then fourth, they should be validated by kind of historical background or stories, and also in some ways this can become like examples that are used or that are given, descriptions that are given to support what is explained or what is taught. Sometimes this is the validation of reason, or referred to as the validation of reason. But so the validation of kind of the connection, historical connection, or story, or the validation of reason. And so most of of Lord Jigten Sumgön's teachings, or all of his teachings, really have or are supported in all cases, by these 4 types of validation that was taught to him by Padma-drupa.
last thing nganson dana parsing to sare thendi tene parsing jela tene nganson man thu shya tane ji.
And so now we'll take a break, and we'll return after the break.
Oh.